Today we study bees with the Escritoire. Welcome, friends, to a new episode of Feed the Beast Ultimate Reloaded. How are you guys doing today? I'm Clobberstomp. I'm doing really well. And last episode, oh man, the last few episodes have been crazy. So we're going to slow it down a little bit and kind of get ourselves back into bees. And today, what I'd like to talk about is the Escritoire. Escritoire. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but we're going to talk about that today. But so one of the things that I've been working on is getting more bees. We have ourselves some tarnished bees, and we also have, what were the other bees we just got? I've been working through some of the metal bees. So uses, the resilient bees give us corroded, tarnished, rusty leaden, galvanized, impregnable, and invincible, lustered. We already have lapis, bauxite, cinnabar, and unstable. And we want to work through all of those bees. And I've already gotten one of them. We've gotten the corroded, and I feel like we filled this up. Nope, it's doing its thing. Perfect. So we've got ourselves some corroded bees, and I've already run these through their cycle, so they have the best traits that we have right now, which is great. But what was really interesting is that I don't know, I'm pretty certain that I did not use an ignoble tarnished bee. So I was, what did I do? So recipes. I used a tropical and a resilient to make a tarnished bee, and I got it. Great, cool. And what I found is I ran it through its first cycle. It ran, and then I got a few tarnished larvae, and I took those larvae so I could inoculate them, right? We put them through our process. And then when I took those bees, I took the bees to then make them good. To improve them. And what did I find? When I went to go grab them, they were gone. So there was no princess in here and no drone. Everything was gone. Like everything died off. It was super weird. I'd never run into that. So we have these tarnished drones that I have not taken to improve yet. So these are all the old bees. I had to make them again. So these bees died off. And I was fairly confident I used a pristine stock, but perhaps I didn't. So we're going to put those in there. So these should cycle themselves out and make themselves really good. So now what we're going to do, though, is we're going to take two of these bees, and we're going to go through this process again. Now, I think, did I do this already? No, I did not. I did this with the other ones. We're going to put those in there. We're going to inoculate. We're going to incubate them so they turn into princesses or drones. So once these come to drones, we're going to put them in here. So then we can isolate the traits and get them in our data bank. So if we do to tarnished, I guess we did do tarnished bees. That's okay. You know what? You guys can see the process anyways. It's not going to hurt anything. We're going to take this bee and we're going to put it, we can just put it in the isolator, but there we go. So this is going to isolate all of its traits. It's going to run through its cycle a couple of times. We've talked about this before, but it'll make these sequences, and it'll take the sequences and then put them in here and run through their number of things to do. So we've got two of these. I usually like to do two. If you run two of them through a cycle, you pretty much guaranteed to get every single trait that you can out of the bees. And if you look at our traits are really kind of going up, which is great. So the idea is to take all the traits off of the bees that you don't need anymore. So we're going to get so there's a couple things you want to do. So before we make these good or purify them, we want to take all the traits off of it that we can to get all of the possible traits, because we never know what kind of traits we might get before we purify them. So one thing that we can do is let's take our frames here And we want to speed up this process a little bit by putting some chocolate frames in the mix. This helps with production. It slows the life, or it speeds the lifespan, and then helps us get helps the bees die off faster. So this cycle will go faster, and we can get these pure traits in here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take these out of here. We're going to drill this guy down. Oh, no, that's not what we want. Let's put you back. There we go. And we're going to take these extra ones that we don't need. And so these 3 that we've taken, and do this. And we'll get rid of those. So, and then we'll take these tarnished bees, because these are all old tarnished bee larvae, and we're going to put them here. So we always have a stock of, we've got 1,000 tarnished bees now that have been unchanged, unused. Same with the corroded, which is really nice. And that's something you want to keep track of. Just in case, you never know if you might need them to go back. So what I do is I just run these through a gene pool, and I just get the liquid DNA out of them. And that's what we've been working on. So pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, we're going to continue. Yeah, here we go. We're going to purify them a little bit here. And now we're going to hopefully start getting the purified bees, which is great news. All right, so we have some bees here. Let's move you there, move you over here. We have a couple things to do. Combs, and we'll put you there. Okay, cool. Let's talk about the Escritoire. I believe that's how it's pronounced. I know I was screwing around before, but you guys get the idea. The Escritoire. Really interesting. Oh, by the way, I've upgraded my software, so I should be able to have better volume leveling. I know in the last few episodes that's been a plague of our existence, and I feel like this is the moneymaker. I think we found the right one. So super huge thanks to the gray-haired gamer, Andrew Indy, for suggesting DxTory. We're now using DxTory for our recording software, which is really nice. And it seems to be working really well. So we're going to continue to use this. I think it's going to work. It gives us the ability to have separate audio tracks, and it should be better. All right, what is this interesting device or caption device? What can it do? First of all, let's take a look at what the Escritoire desk. From forestry, with a little bit of seed oil in a carpenter, you can make the Escritoire with just some wood and about a half a bucket of seed oil. Nothing too difficult, but you should only need one. Now, this is a little mini game, which is kind of neat. It has this ability to add drops for examining species and specimens and things like that. What you do is you take a drone and you have these books. Now, you can use this and expand. It's a memory game, really. So we know this is a gelid. That was some other one. Every time you use two of these, it'll show you one, and sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. So now we know this is a gelid and a gelid, and we know that one's not, so we're going to take a stab. We missed it. Now we didn't win. So let's try the game again. Now, typically I don't use these. I just kind of guess and pick it up and try again and again until we get one. When it's really easy, you have this first bee. It gives you really only need to make 3 matches. So it's not hard. You just kind of, it's very click heavy. Take it out, put it back in, and it's not too difficult. You just kind of click here. It doesn't cost you anything, so it's really just time. But, okay, so we've got an absolute drone here and a barren drone, and this one's automatically going to match. And then what you get is you get some notes. Okay, cool. We got notes, and sometimes you get combs. So this is a really good tool to get started with because, look, if you take a look at these notes, we got ourselves blue combs or damp combs, which let's take a look at the uses. We can build apiarist chests with it, but we can get watery propolis, and we can make water from water propolis. So it's kind of useless for these ones, but you can get other bees that you haven't necessarily gotten before, hence with these research. So we found a new mutation. We can use an embittered bee and a water bee to have a higher success of making a common. Now, if we right click on this, it will learn what we learned, which is awesome. And what you can do is sometimes you'll get notes that you've already learned. You've already memorized this. So you could pass these to someone else if they're working on bees, and you could pass these to somebody else on the server and they could learn the knowledge. So what's really cool is now if we look, I know before we had like 350 some species. Now we have 367 and 166 branches. And now we have 89 secret species that we found. We're still a bee swatter. I don't know exactly when that changes to something else, because I feel we're a little bit better than a bee swatter. You know what I mean? I've been really working hard to try to get this, but let's see if we can work through a couple of these and see if we can get more. The only thing that this examine does is it helps you flip over one of these books sometimes, and it has a chance of getting it, but then you reduce your reward, which means you might not get the notes for learning more. So I just kind of bypass that. All right, we're going to get another one here, which is cool. Let's do that. So we learned the Miri and water to make damp. That's cool. All right. And you just do this a bunch of times. If you have one bee, there's so many different combinations that you get. So you could, with your forest drones or your meadow drones that you get right away, you could really just start playing this game right away to hopefully unlock some other bees and combinations to learn more from your bees, like straight out of the gate. So we have another mutation learned. Now we already know how to make a river drone, but now we know how to make it with a diligent and a river, or a diligent and a water. Now what's interesting is as you get into more complex bees, you get the game becomes much harder. So now I've never completed one of these ones, the large bees. So for the tarnished drones, you have to match all of these, and I've never done it. Let's see if we can try to do it. So we've got a watery drone there. Let's try to remember that. And we've got a thriving drone and a water drone. All right, we've got a diamande drone, a water drone, and a savant drone. I can't remember what this one was already. And then a decaying drone and a frugal. So let's try this. Now we know it's not one of the ones we've already seen. So let's try this guy. Nope. And we got to start over. And then the game begins again. So it's really hard to do. And so this one gave us two, a stained and a diamande. And an ethereal. A diamande, stained and diamande. Ah, you chose the wrong one. It was this one. Shoot. So you can use at the expense of honey, you can try to get more, but then it reduces your particular rewards. So I kind of stopped using these harder drones because I just couldn't get them. I never got more than one. It's completely random. You know, it's kind of a luck game, but it's a good way to pass time. And it's really interesting. So if you do the Blizzy one, there's also these two. So, but it's not necessary. Oh, there we go. Oh, dang. Oh, shoot. But yeah, you can see how this could be a lot of fun. But if you use the mundane drones that you get, you can kind of get... Oh, those don't match. They look like they matched. There we go. So now we've got some marshy and water make a common, as you can see. So, and typically whatever bee you have, you'll get some of the rewards of whatever it drops. So as you can see, I've got all these different combs. I was trying different bees to see what kind of things you get. I opened up our pack here and I found some other drones. Let's try a Valiant drone. We haven't tried those. Let's put that water away. So maybe we'll get some things from a Valiant drone and see what's up here. Okay, here we go. We found one. Now check it out. So the Valiant drone gives off cocoa combs and sugar, and then we also got a new species of ebony. Oh, looks like you can use sugar in there too. Interesting. I didn't know that. So now we just learned another mutation, which is great. So now if we look at our data bank and we click here, look at that. We've learned 370 species. We didn't get any more branches or any other secrets, but yeah, it's really kind of neat. So now if you scroll through here, we've got all kinds of bees that we know about, like the Mary bee, which there's something special about this bee. It only shows up between December 23rd and December 29th or something like that. So we can't even get it anymore. We have to wait until that time frame. And this Leoprine one is coming up in March, between the end of March and April. So we can probably get that one soon if we're still in this series then. But yeah, it's really interesting. This is kind of cool to do. And you can start learning more about your bees in your data bank. It's really fun. Oh yeah, let's use, so it does use that. Okay. Glowing and this. Nope, we wasted stuff. Now, if you have an abundance of honey, it's kind of a non-issue. Just put them in there. I just kind of keep doing this until I find matches. And you don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. You can choose whatever way you want. You'll find whatever combination you find, you'll go through it. But it's a really good way of getting combs and other resources and finding different ways to make some of the bees. It gives you an opportunity to find bees that you haven't found in your breeding yet, which is really good. So I know NEI can show you pretty much, if you knew about a bee, if you typed in Mary, there's no Mary bee. So if you go back, there's all these bees. There's the Farmley and Esmeralda bees, but there's no Mary bee. It doesn't show up in NEI. So there are different bees in here that might not necessarily show up. So let's take a look. Invar. So the Invar bees are here, so you could find those, but there are some that don't. So be aware of that. It's just something that's a little bit interesting. But yeah, this is a fun game. It's kind of tedious at times, but it can give you an opportunity to find some other bees you necessarily haven't found yet. Like carbon, there's carbon bees and mutable bees and Esmeralda bees. Oh, look at, this gives us a new thing, a Perusian bee. Success chance is low from a valiant and a water. So let's learn that. This is going to definitely improve what we found. It didn't give us a different branch though, which is fine. But yeah, kind of neat. That pretty much covers the Escritoire. It's really cool. I like it. It's a lot of fun. It's something to pass time if you're kind of bored or you need to do something while you're kind of waiting, because some of this stuff takes a long time, especially with like the genetics. Like now we're sitting here waiting. You know, I'm not too worried about how long these are going to take. I just kind of let them run in the background. And I play with this. I try to learn more things. And then I try making some new ones. So what we could do, this hasn't gone through its full cycle yet. I wanted to get this to purified. Once it's purified, we're going to try to run another cycle of the tarnished bees. Oh, not tarnished. The resilient bees uses to try to get ourselves, because we have corroded and tarnished, we want to get ourselves rusty and leadened. So, but you can see, look at, it has a chance of getting different things. So Meadows does like 3 different ones, I think. No, just 2. But yeah, hopefully we can get leaden and rusty coming up next, which will be really cool. So, okay, those are starting to stack. So those have already completed their journey. So we can take these out and move those into some other setup. Can I put them, will they work in here? They will. Great. Okay, perfect. And now they're no longer dependent on, let's get rid of you. And let's do this. And get one of you. And we'll put you back in there. And we'll do this. So now these will just run indefinitely. And then I think we want to do, let's move you, put you there. And let's make this item duct. All right, let's do that. Actually, I think I have, did I leave all that stuff in here? I think I did. I did, so let's take that and a servo, which I don't think we need any of the other stuff. Okay, perfect. And we can do this, so boom, boom. How far away did I put that sucker? Just one? Okay, I did just one. All right, chest. Get one of those guys. We're gonna put you there. And then we will do this, and you guys can cycle. And now we're making tarnished stuff. So now we're making tin combs, which is fantastic. There's the tin comb. You can take a look at the uses here. Uses. It makes tin grains, and if you look at the uses by clicking on, does that not have a recipe? That's weird. Weird. So maybe that was feudal. The copper ones though, let's type grains. Okay, iron works. Gold, no. Silver, no. Platinum works, that's good. Silver does not. I might have to go fix these. So tin does not. Nickel works. Lead does not. Oh, dang. Oh, titanium works, which is really... Okay, the few big ones is what we're looking for. I don't really care as much of this, you know, the tiny baby ones. But the tungsten and the titanium and platinum, those are the ones we kind of care about. So there's a few of these recipes that are messed up. Just be aware of that. But yeah, there we go. We're making rocky combs and whatnot. There we go. So this is doing its thing. The next thing, let's get ourselves a marshy. Is that what we needed? We needed a, let's do uses. So let's do a meadows and a resilient and see if we can get a rusty or a leaden. So let's get this guy out. Hopefully I have a meadows in here. I do, a meadows, perfect. All right, so let's take you and let's get one of you. And then what we're going to do is get an ender. Okay, let's craft 100 of those. Yeah. Nope, it's too fast for me. Okay, we just need one. Put it in the mutator box. Boom. And so I was trying to put nether stars in here. It doesn't work in this pack. In other packs it does. If you put a nether star in here, it's 100% chance of getting your mutation. However, I have found with running I've only had it fail one time. So now this is too humid, which means we have too much water going in here, which doesn't matter. So we need to dry it out, which means we need to put in fans or heaters, actually. Or actually just do this. Let this die off. Maybe it will work if that fan's not there, because we're not getting water anymore. Those have been changed out. Ooh, actually it is. Did that work? No, it's still too humid. So let's turn this off. That's going to take a long time to break out of there. So let's do this. Is it still too humid? It's too damp to fly. Okay, so this one is also too humid. So let's get our wrench out and get rid of you. And then plug this back in. I'd like to leave these here. There we go. Now it goes. Perfect. So When this reaches the end of its production, this should give us a full, let's make sure to turn this off. Should give us a change. So, all right, I'm going to let this run. As you can see, it's already run pretty quick. So it's going pretty fast. I'm going to let this run to the bottom, and I'll show you guys what the result is. All right, we are back, and check this out. We have ourselves leaden drones. Now, these didn't stack, so any number of things could happen. It did use our mutator, so we're going to use that one. And we'll leave this leaden bee here, and we're going to put him, you know what? We're going to put him in the trait finder, as I call it. The isolator, we'll let him do his thing, because that bee is not going to be really used. And we don't have any larvae there. Has these all finished? No, not yet. So this is going to run through. Hopefully we'll get something that changes. So we're not going to turn on the automation yet because we don't have stacking drones. Once we have stacking drones, then we'll turn this on. What I found is I made corroded, or I made galvanized one time, and then it changed to corroded on the next cycle. And then I stayed with the corroded. So be aware, especially with these metal bees, some of these metal ones kind of will change really quickly, and you have to make sure you get a good pure one before you kind of continue on. So just be aware of that. So that frame's there. How are these two frames doing? Are they still active? They are. All right, we'll let them all die off before we put in another one, and that way they're all equal. And we've only got 2 left anyways. We'll let this finish and do its thing, but all right, friends, I hope this helps learning and in your bee journey. I'm enjoying it. The bees are fun, right? They're so much fun, and everything looks so much nicer with everything being lit up. Doesn't it look good? It does. Oh, geez. But yeah, we're going to continue on. I'm going to find more bees, and I'll bring you in when we find more bees. We're going to be doing, I've got a lot of things to do. We got a lot of things to cover, so I'm really excited. I hope you guys are too. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Take care and be well.